What's up, everybody? Last time I left you guys off, we finished up mocking up the bracket for the proportion valve. I went ahead and finished up cleaning it up and finished welding it and drilling the holes and mounting the proportion valve in there. Still have to put paint on it, but I'm going to go ahead and today I'm going to do my best at making some brake line to go from the master cylinder to the proportion valve, and then seeing what we can do about adapting the factory brake lines to the proportional valve, and then get that done. I might get into making the bracket for the air cleaner today because it still, like I said, moves around a little bit. It's not too bad. I'm probably going to take that out of the way just so I can get in there and make the lines I need to make. But I'll show you how I got this thing mounted up here last night. So I went ahead and cleaned up the edges, finish welded the bracket, and went and got some hardware for that to bolt it up so that I can go ahead and make my lines today. Let's see if I can get you down here, and you can kind of see it from this side as well. That's what it looks like underneath. Like I said, I wanted to try and use both bolts from the master cylinder to hold that bracket to keep it in place. So probably what I'm going to end up doing is I'm probably just going to do probably a time-lapse video doing the brake lines, because it's going to be an extensive process, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Kind of did a really long video last time. I just feel like the shorter videos are a little bit better. So I'm going to get into setting that up and start working on bending those out and see how that goes. I might stop in between here and there to talk about a couple things, but for the most part, I'm just gonna try and knock these out and see what we can do. Alright, so I got that first one done. It was a little easier than I thought. So on these GM mass zoners, pretty much the back is the front is the back for the brake system. So it's fairly simple on the proportion valve, because when you go over here, this is the front, this is the rear. So basically I just kind of did something to go down and underneath. I did this coil like they do from the factory. I know there's not a lot of movement for here, but I always do these because it gives you less chance, it gives you more flexibility for different situations. I'm going to make sure the front tire clears this when it goes all the way up. Right now I have it on jack stands, so we're going to jack the wheel up and see if it clears that, which hopefully it does. So I'm going to sit you guys back over here. This is another part of the stuff I need to address to get this wiring harness out of the way of this tire. But once I get the brake lines done, I'm going to take care of that. Alright, so that's about as far as the tire will ever go. And got plenty. I mean, I could fit my hand in there. I could probably push this back just a little bit if I need to, or pull this up. But I don't ever see this tire being a problem. So when I go to do the next one up front, I'm probably going to try and bring this coil a little more under so that it doesn't end up any closer to the tire. So then get going on that. Probably just going to go ahead and just rock out another time lapse. Just bend it up quick and see how it goes. Hopefully it goes as good as the first one. Brake lines are never easy. They always tend to give some kind of trouble in some way. So I'll go ahead and get you guys set back up and do another little time lapse thing and get going on that. Alright, so I got that one done. Did a little differently. Kind of tucked it up in more. I might remake this one. These are just kind of just hand tight in here just so I can lay it out. But I might remake this one. This one, I mean, I got plenty of room. This one's a little tighter. I just kind of like how this one came out a little bit better, but I may leave it, may remake it, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to doing the other lines. I have two front lines and a rear line, because on this model truck with the ABS, they have individual front brake lines. So I'm going to move on to doing that. I'll probably leave it rolling for that section. I'm going to take a second and take a look at what I need to do before I jump into it. And then I'll be back with you guys. Alright, so I'm going to try and work from the back line, well, the furthest back towards the firewall line forward. I'm going to try and reuse as much of this rear line as I can, as the rear line is 1/4 inch. All the fittings on this are 3/16. I already put an adapter in here for 1/4 inch line. So I'm going to try and just bend this and get it to fit to there. The front lines, I might just try and straighten those a little bit and get them to go up in there as well. Let's see how it works. These are steel lines from the factory. They're a little less forgiving on bending, like the copper line that I use to do the other pieces. So I think I might just leave that one like with that turn in it and just bring it back to there like that. So mark that for cut if my marker will mark. Cut that off put a flare fitting on it, then the flare line. Lost track of how many times I've done a pretty good flare on the line and forgot the fitting. Me and my buddy were just talking about brake lines, as a lot of people don't really like to do them. Like I say, they can be aggravating sometimes, especially if you're doing something further under the vehicle or something like that. But they're not terrible. Definitely not my top of the list type of thing I want to do, but they're still not too bad to do, especially up here when you're not down there laying underneath the vehicle doing everything. The copper line makes making lines a lot better. And probably once I get this stuff done, I'm going to end up probably taking this bracket back off and then painting it. Where did that go? Alright, that went all the way on the ground. Alright, so I got this old fancy tool off Amazon, mainly for doing lines like this, because you don't have to have a lot of space. The hydraulic part of it is, look, I'm getting ready to mess up already. Talking and working. I need to put a fitting on that before I flare it. That would have been real nice. I think I'll just use the same size fitting. Alright, cool. Alright, so put that on there. Then put the flare tool on here without flinging the fittings all over the place. Snug it up. You have to line this up just right so that you have the right amount of stick out. To make the flare right. It's a two-part process. First, do a little bubble flare on it, and then use a cone to invert it. What is that? Oh, that's what. I like using the hydraulic a lot better than old manual ones. Let's see if this one works out pretty good. It is a little harder to flare these factory steel lines than the copper ones, obviously. Let's see how it turns out. I might have to redo this, but let's see. Let's see where we're sticking this at in there. It's always fun getting the fitting started, especially upside down. I don't ever want to thread in properly. It probably would also help if I was turning it the right way, I guess. Come on now. So that one will work for that side. Do the same thing with this. I'll just cut it, fitting, flare it, get it up in there, and the next one will be that 1/4 inch line. That one's going to be a little more difficult. Let's see if I can get this straightened out just a little bit. Get a little extra line out of it. Jeez, butterfingers. One of these times I'm going to knock this light off here. A big ass head. Gotta have it though. Can't see nothing in here without it. So I think the first thing Kyle plans on doing with this after he gets it back and everything is he has a show that he's going to go to. We normally go to it, which we're not going to go this year, but it's down in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. It's the Southeastern Mini Trucking Nationals. That is probably one of the very best shows on the East Coast. We normally go down for about 4 days. We go from like Thursday to Monday. But the show is technically slated for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I do not recall the dates right now. But we go down Thursday. The town is very, very well receiving of mini truckers for that week. So much so that during the day and even more in the evenings, you will see lines and lines of mini trucks, full-size trucks, and such, just cruising up and down the main strip, dragging, throwing sparks, all that great stuff. The cops, the police there, they enjoy having everybody there. As long as nobody's acting a fool, everybody's good. I think it was my first year there. I remember seeing pretty sure it was an S10. Just, it was nighttime, just dragging right past the county cop. The county cop could care less because they're out there having fun, good time, all that great stuff. And they're just such great people down there. The show is freaking amazing to go to. But the bonus part of that show for that weekend is the cruising. And kind of bummed we don't get to go this year, but we are planning a lot more stuff for the following year. This is kind of our catch-up year. We're gonna try and get ourselves together because once I'm done with this project, get it done and out the door, I have an O2 Blazer that I need to get in here and hopefully get fixed. I'm going to throw a timing chain in it and stuff, and I'm going to drive that while I work on my truck. And then also at some point I believe we're going to have a 96, 97 Ranger project coming here that will need an extensive amount of work. I'm not quite sure what all we're going to get into doing on that, but it's going to be a fun little project too. But we got my truck, the Ranger, and the S10 to get done before we get into doing any more big trips. There's going to be some other small shows here and there that we're going to go to, but let me get this flare tool and get in here and flare this line. Come on then. I'll line this up just enough so it's sticking out just right. This one. Try not to smack myself in the face with it. Come on now. Yeah. Dang light. I swear I'm gonna knock it off here one of these times. All the fittings on this is a 45-degree inverted flare. So even the factory stuff and this Willwood proportionate valve. So nice thing is you can use all the same little flare adapters until you get to a different size line, which will be coming up next. So I'll have to get that stuff together for that one. Yahtzee. Stay. Oh, I can't find where that went. Oh no. Alright, apparently kind of got lost forever, I guess. Oh, no, I see it. There we go. Alright. Let's see if we can get this. Got it. Always fun trying to do this upside down. Come on. Definitely am going to take my time with threading these in because last thing they do is cross thread a brand new proportionate valve. That would not be good. Come on. There. So I said doing these upside down is always fun. To get the threads lined up. Especially with not being able to see exactly what you're doing. And then sometimes they want to act like they grab a bite. And then you will go ahead and grab your wrench and go and try and tighten them down. And then you'll be in a world of trouble when you try and tighten it. So, let me see how. I might end up. So this thing's got, from the factory, this is where it bolts onto the ABS pump. And then you go down about 6 inches or so, it's got a union. And then you go down about another 10 to 15 inches, there's another union. All from the factory. I'm going to try and leave all that in. I'm going to try and route that around because I have to get it to come up here to this one. So I might have to undo a little bit of line because I don't want it to push up on the control arm, or the control arm to push up on the line. So I might have to do a little bit of bending there. A little bit. And then see what we can do. More wiring harness that I have to deal with. think I'm going to, even though I just put these in, I think I'm going to pull these out so that I can bend this rear line. Because I would like to keep this one over that way like that for the most part. Keep it away from the steering shaft. And this one I'm going to have to do the same. Do a little bend and push up on it. Try and get it to, I don't really want to run it through the center of this line. That'd be kind of dumb. So I'm probably going to try and maybe come up through here. A little bit of an angle. And then do that. I don't think this will fit that. If I can get it to do it without. No, that's not going to fit that. So I have to go and find a fitting for that. Let's go find that before I get too far into this. So, because I need that fitting to be able to finish this up. Alright, so I'm probably going to stop here for now. And then come back to this later. I'm going to have to run out and get a fitting for this. And that 1/4 inch line. Probably when you come back, I'll have some other stuff routed around and whatnot. But we'll stop off right here. And then catch back up with you when I go get a fitting for this. Alright, so I did a little bit of stuff off camera. I went and grabbed the fitting, pulled the bracket back off, cleaned it up, and threw some paint on it. It's drying right now, so you won't see it in here, but pretty much just going to leave it like this. Once I get the bracket back on, it'll be painted and everything. I also, while I was in here, I made a little bracket to hold the intake up so that it don't keep dropping down, especially while he's driving it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this. I'm going to bleed the brakes. I probably won't have that in a video because it's going to take forever, and I just don't see me trying to set the phone up, trying to record all that. I'm just going to get it done, and then might get a little bit of video of it out driving around and stuff once I get the brakes bled and whatnot. But other than that, this may be the last video of it. I mean, I'll probably try and get some shots of it, but if I don't, then I don't, because I'm terrible at remembering to actually record stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, ABS pumps out of the way, got proportion valve in, just got a final tighten all the lines, throw fluid in it, and bleed it. I might get to that either this evening or tomorrow after work, but yeah, that's it for now. So most likely the next thing you'll see on here is probably going to be the Blazer. I got parts coming in for that this week, so I get to tear into that and see if I can hopefully fix that. But that's it for now, guys.